What is up, you guys? It is obviously your boy out here, Brenton Biggers, and welcome to another live stream. And it's been a while since we did something that isn't God of War related. On my live streams, when was the last time? 8 days ago. So it's been a while. But we're doing the Panthers rebuild because, well, I just think this team, obviously, in my personal opinion, deserves to be rebuilt. Look at this team. You have basically a horrible future ahead of you. And I was talking to my mentor about this. This team has the potential to be the new Cleveland Browns because of what they've been in their situation for. Because look at their O-line. Look at their receivers. Look at the running back. Look at the tight ends. Look at their defense. There are barely any pieces to this team that are going to stay. And I think we're going to start off by trading Brian Burns. This is the development trade. This is going to suck, obviously. But it's kind of necessary to try to, fix the roster. And, you can't get stuff for him. It's just something that is going to be very important. You can get, some really, really good stuff for him. And, you know what? Let's try to, trade him to, a edge rusher, needy team that's not in our conference. And, you know what team kind of fits in my head? I mean, kind of the Dolphins, but the Falcons, but they're in our conference. Jacksonville? No, not really. The Ravens really do. But the problem is they have no draft capital for him. Or cap space. So I think I'm going to just trade it to is probably the Vikings because they're in the biggest need of edge rushers. I feel like they just need defensive players, period. So how about 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns? It's not accepted, but I think if I just threw in a first, I think it should be accepted, yeah. First-round pick for Brian Burns. Honestly, pretty fair because I'm pretty sure we got him for a first-round pick. So basically, we're getting what we got in return. Basically. Another player that needs to get traded is Terrace Marshall Jr. 23 years old. He hasn't really done anything with your roster. He's basically there just to be there. So, heck, even a fifth or something, something at least decent could maybe be worth something. The Bears, they could definitely use another receiver. And there you go. 4th round pick from the Bears for exchange of Terrace Marshall Jr. At least we're getting something back rather than nothing. Another player that we want to get rid of is Adam Thielen. I know he's very good and all, but their contract is not going to help us. His age is not going to help us. Just, he's not worth keeping around. Now, if we go look at this, we can get something very good for him. Jalen Johnson in a 3rd. DeAndre Hopkins in a 3rd next year. Tariq Woolen 2nds and 3rds. You can clearly see that we could obviously get something good for him. Exactly, it's just what we want. And honestly, I feel like in real life, the Chiefs would probably make a trade like this. So why not just try to throw in 2 first-round picks? Because, well, you know why. And let's throw in a debt piece. Or just maybe a potential starter, at least at the position, in Mike Adina. How does this work? Alright. Mike Adina, 2 first-round picks for exchange of Adam Thielen. So, now, we actually even somewhat now fixed our defense with this, well, player. But what I think I might do is trade him and just try to get another bridge player, I guess, instead. Or try to fix the O-line, like try to get like a quarterstone piece on the O-line, potentially. Cedric Ruse. I think I'm going to try to trade for Cedric Ruse. Like, he's 8 overalls higher. Well, like the player I'm trading, yeah. Mike Adina for exchange for Cedric Ruse. Division trade, but who cares? I think that is going to be it in offense, except 2 other players in DJ Chark and Taylor Moultrie. And defense, I don't think there's really anything else I want to trade. I mean, I guess actually, never mind. There are some players I want to trade on defense. Deontay Jackson is definitely one of them. You don't need him here. Vikings could use him. Might as well trade him there. It's going to matter. And just make them lose more draft picks. How about a second next year? That's really all I'm asking for Deontay Jackson, really. I'm not asking for so much. I want to try to get rid of both of these linebackers and Von Bell and Xavier Rhodes. It's like try to completely sweep this entire roster. And same thing with him, try to get something rather than nothing. Let's turn to the Titans. They could definitely use some middle linebackers, it looks like. I don't think they're gonna accept the first right away. But how about these 2 players for exchange of Vaughn for their first round pick? That did not work. I mean, I guess it makes sense because you do got Tremaine Edmonds and probably signed him as a free agent. But how much could we get for him? He's 26. He's an 80 overall, so like probably where he is, probably like he's gonna be at 82, 83 before he progresses. So that's like a decent player to have on your roster. Seahawks value him a lot, which I actually think is a bit interesting because they have already 3 decent middle linebackers. Do the Ravens value him? No. This is interesting. Pairs of seconds? I mean, I'll take this. Okay. Not even close. But they could use some help on defense. So Von Bell? Okay. Well, we're in the green at least this time. And how about the Bears' 4th round pick? No, it didn't work. I thought that actually was going to work because at least they get a pick back. DJ Chark. Okay. How about just like a second and... Yeah, you know what? Just a second. This year. Not accepted. How about next year? I honestly think this should work. This should work. Alright. There you go. Fanati Mulu for a 2nd round pick next year. Let's try to get a second though this year. Or maybe another 1st round pick potentially. Like, because I think we only have like 2 1st round picks at the moment. Actually, you know, I think that's pretty fine. I don't think though we have any first next year outside of mine. Oh, never mind, no, we do. So we had 2 seconds for next year. Let's try to get a second in this year. From Von Bell. Which can help happen, I feel like. Rams, I mean, they can use some help all over their team. So, okay. Not accepted right away, but I guess that's kind of understandable. And then DJ Chark. They could... I mean, he is a better overall... No. He is better overall than Tutu Atwell, but still. And Ian Thomas, just like... See if this works? No. It barely didn't. Chris Worthy. Yeah, this should work. Yeah. All those pretty much decent players, more like depth piece players, for exchange of a 2nd round pick this year. Now, basically, I don't really care what I get anymore. Like, I feel like we got some draft picks for sure. Jamarity Chan, I'm going to keep, I guess, at strong safety. Deion Jones will get traded. Xavier Woods is going to get traded. And then Taylor Mutrin, and then that's going to be it for terms of trades. So, let's see which team actually, like, values all these players in the green. I mean, I don't know if there is a team, but if there is, I'll try to work it out, I guess. No, okay. I don't think the Bears is going to work. The Bills actually could, because, like, again, you have Micah Hyana. All I'm asking for is 2 first-round picks. You're gonna get high first-round picks, so, or low first-round picks. Sorry, 2 first-round picks for exchange of Taylor Mutrin, Xavier Woods, and Deion Jones. So after that, after all this trading, we are now a 74 overall. Not great. I'm also gonna probably cut Miles Sanders. His contract is just way too much for me. So, I guess I could trade him at first too. If I can't get anything. No. No. This team kind of needs a backup. I mean, I guess the Saints, but they also signed a Jamal Williams for that reason, technically. You know what? 6th round pick. I don't really care. There you go. 6 for Miles Sanders. I never thought that would ever happen, but it did. So we're at a 74 overall, 72 overall deep offense with a 77 defense. So at least our defense isn't like remarkably terrible. Like, again, there's still some cornerstone pieces like Jamarity Chin, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, and Sam Hubbard, and Bryce Young, Jonathan Mingo, Gwen Maguano, Cedric Rhodes. Like, all these players are going to be some decent players to, like, potentially build around to try to make this team better. You know, like a better team. So, I think I'm just probably going to... Actually, no, I'm not going to simulate it to the offseason because I would like to change my scouting focus. Even that's not even going to help us this year. Like, we're arguably going to be a very bad team. Which, like, yeah. But that would explain why I think this team could potentially just be the new Cleveland Browns. So, I want to mention this because, obviously, you know, they traded the first overall pick for they traded for the first overall pick for exchange of their first round pick, which was the 9th overall pick, by the way, a 2nd round pick, which I don't remember if it was theirs or the Niners. I don't even remember if they traded it even. Their first this year, it's just turning out to probably be the first overall pick, maybe. Or number 2. You never know how that could happen. And then you have their 2025 2nd round pick, which would be next year. And then you would have DJ Moore. All those players are draft picks. Got traded. I mean, the Bears haven't favored so much so far because, Darnell Wright has been not terrible, but so far, obviously, I do think the Bears have had so far the better side of the trade. DJ Moore has been probably, I think he may have had his best season so far. Darnell Wright has been a nice piece there, alright? And they're about to get the first overall pick again, where they either take Caleb Williams and then trade Jalen Hurts for draft picks, or they trade down and get more draft picks. Which I honestly think, either move would be great, because, trading Jalen Hurts, you're probably going to get, a 2nd or a 3rd round pick or something, right? Then you're going to get, Caleb Williams, who's people are saying are like is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, like Trevor Lawrence. Which have you seen how good Trevor Lawrence has been? And then you also have this such decent team around you, and you also have your first round pick where you could potentially get another receiver, another all lineman, or fix up your defensive line, which is something that you can honestly do. So
These
yeah,
players
but
are on the last year of their
anyway,
contract.
we're 1-5 right now, and I mean it's not surprising. Like this team's sucking. Eric
Choose from
Rotas
4 preset
Matos,
offers that range in level.
I definitely kind of want to bring back just as like a bridge player though. So like, just like a 1 year pack, just to stay on the team. Something I could definitely consider doing. Barry Chin is definitely a player I want to keep around, but like again, if he doesn't want to come back, that's totally fine with me. I'll give you a 2 year pack, and I'm actually gonna give him some decent money as well for exchange of just staying. And he would prefer just to go free agency. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Instead of going to free agency, buddy, you're gonna go find yourself a different team. Okay. He wants to go to a big market. I already know exactly what he's talking about. He's going to Arizona. I know they have Bua Baker there, but hey, it's not my problem. It's your problem. um, they do actually have a lot of pair of third round picks, which is interesting. But I kind of don't want to work like which is a team that has like an extremely high pick right now, like a projected high pick. Is also in the South area of things. Tennessee, not really. Houston, not really. Pittsburgh, no. Seattle, I mean, they do have a decent place, and their market isn't terrible. New Orleans is in the South. Baltimore is kinda warm, I guess. Los Angeles, actually, I think this might work. I obviously will have to trade up, but I'm just curious to see where the start is. Okay, not amazing, as I guess it's expected. 23rd overall pick as well. That's not even close. Um, the 99th overall pick, like, it's not even close. Ah, it's honestly kind of surprising. Second round pick. All right. 4th and 23rd projected picks for exchange of the 10th overall pick. And obviously Jermaine Chin, who basically traded a player who was not going to be there anymore. The 23rd, which is probably going to be a very late first round pick, and then a somewhat early second round pick for exchange for a top 10 draft pick so far projected, obviously. But the question is which position I would probably prefer to focus. Because you could honestly say a case of interior defensive lineman just for Bryce Young to actually feel comfortable in the pocket at least. But at the same time, we can also say this to receivers because like there is like no receivers that I might even think to keeping outside of Jonathan Mingo, I guess. You can also say tight end, but Termy I think is going to be decent enough tight end. Corners because Shaq Griffin and Troy Hill are up there in age, which that will lead us to J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson. You could say safeties because our safeties are terrible. You can honestly say our middle linebackers because well, we run 3-4, or edge rushers. So like, there's a lot of things I can do, but I guess it's just gonna prefer. It's gonna depend on what position actually is like good in this draft. Which interior linebackers usually aren't the best. So unfortunately, these are zero positions in need except left end. While all of these positions except right guard, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess except right guard is like a weakness to this team. So that's a bit of an issue. I think I might just go with linebacker, like middle linebacker, just because we have a big need there, let's face it, and I don't know what to do with that, so yeah. So I guess we're just gonna simulate it to the off season because like unless we win all of our games or like unless like we lose like a couple of games, I guess like, we could technically still make it like, but we're gonna have to go on a winning streak and we only can basically lose 2 games or 3 games. So I guess it's like kinda could happen, but with how bad our team is, I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah, but like again, like back to where I was saying, they don't have like all their draft picks until 2026, which that's like a very long time, and it sucks. And like their team is not good at all. And the fact that one of your best players are getting up there in age in Adam Thielen, and you can honestly also can kind of start to say Brian Burns kind of, is a bit of a problem. And I mean, it's not really their fault. It's kind of just trading up in this draft was very interesting. It's like whoever decided to make this trade, which I have no idea who did, was like, you know, I'm very confident with this team that we're going to make it into a playoffs and maybe make it to the Super Bowl the next few years. We just need a quarterback, and I like Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. I like both of them. I prefer C.J. Stroud. I didn't make the trade, but then the owner, obviously, um, we know this. The owner says, you know what? Let's go draft Bryce Young. He's going to change the franchise. People are going to be super excited that we got a quarterback, and we're in a very weak division where we can make it to the postseason. And then look how bad they've been so far this year. So the one thing that you could start to look is basically you could say that obviously drafting C.J. Stroud has been, Bryce Young has been a mistake. But really, you could honestly start asking yourself, is trading up to that pick a mistake? Because when you think about it, if they stayed at the number 9th pick in the draft, they could have potentially still taken either Jalen Carter, potentially, or Will Levis, potentially. Which those are two, like, Will Levis has been not great, but he hasn't been bad either. And you would still kept him in DJ Moore. You would have still kept your first round pick. You would have still kept your second. Like, you would have kept so much draft picks, and you also could have, like, actually, like, build around for the quarterback in the future or your quarterback now in Will Levis. You know? Instead of trading for the first overall pick and getting Bryce Young in a terrible situation. Could have just did that. So, we went 4-13. Can't say that I'm surprised. None of our players made it in here. And the Eagles won this. Honestly, this would be an interesting Super Bowl to see. I'm going to say that. Eagles versus the Dolphins, like, they're both haven't really had great defenses. I mean, I guess the Dolphins have a very good defense, but it's also been banged up. But the Eagles have just not had the same defense
Quickly
this
review
year.
the league's top performers and the
You know? So, you could say that's the reason. So, Bryce Young had, honestly, a very good season. Just, he needs to start completing a little bit more passes because he had 59% completion percentage. 873 yards for Sam Hubbard. Probably was like one of the only things that we're working on offense. Jonathan Mingo, wow, he had a really good season and yet still won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Okay. he actually made it to the Pro Bowl. I mean, I guess it's not surprising. Because he's like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's the 14th in receiving yards. How about touchdowns, though? I mean, he's probably like one of the lower ones, I guess, because like look at how many touchdowns. Like, he had 7 touchdowns, which is not a lot. But I guess it also makes sense because of how bad our offense is. So you have to say touchdowns as Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Drake London, Rondell Moore, Elijah Moore, Odell Beckham, Gabe Davis, Pratt Firemove, Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, Allen Robertson somehow, Adam Toomer, Keenan Allen, Alan Lazard, Michael Pittman, Noah Fant, DJ Chark, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. All those players have the exact amount of touchdowns as Jonathan Mingo, which is kind of impressive, not going to lie. Our O-line was, I guess, not terrible. Like, he only got sacked 32 times, which wasn't, I guess, like I said, terrible. Derek Brown actually got a lot of sacks this year. It just sucks, like, he was, like, the only player who, honestly, even really got in sacks. Like, more than one. J.C. Horn, we did get some interceptions. Like, it seems to be, like, our offense, like, again, our offense wasn't bad, but either was our defense. So, it's not terrible, like I said, but at the same time, it isn't good either. And the fact that, like, and obviously, like I said, this draft, it doesn't really matter to us what happened during the season. It didn't matter because we already had, we didn't even have our first round pick this year. So honestly, if we made it to the postseason, it wouldn't really hurt our draft stock. But like if we did make it to the first overall pick, which I don't think we did, that would have significantly hurt our draft stock just because we didn't had the first overall pick and we're basically trading it. Like, you know what was actually funny? The Panthers and Texans both traded up to the top 3 and traded first round picks, right? Except one team benefited, one team didn't. You know? One team did benefit, which is the Houston Texans, with getting Will Anderson Jr., who's been relatively decent. Like, he hasn't been amazing or anything, which I guess is kind of expected. But at the same time, if you look at the Panthers and what they did, it was not great. And you know what's the thing with the Texans, actually? I think the Texans just traded draft picks. Like, I think they traded their first round pick, which was the 12th overall pick. And I'm pretty sure they traded, like, their first round pick next year and their 4th. And maybe their 3rd. I don't really remember exactly, but they traded a lot of stuff, though, but they didn't trade players, which is something that this team did. And I honestly am starting to wonder, what was the worst thing about that trade for the Panthers? Was it trading their first round pick next year? Which I guess could be it. Or, alright, Cedric Roos is back. Or it was trading DJ Moore. Because, like, DJ Moore easily, like, as we have seen, has kind of impacted. Well, I mean, I guess not really, because Jonathan Mingo has been relatively good all year. Like, I mean, he hasn't been what I think the Panthers have expected at that position, unfortunately. But like, it's really their fault, you know, that he hasn't lived up to the expectations. And it also sucks that he's like their only receivers outside of Adam Thielen. But and then you also have again like Adam Thielen. Like I think signing him has been honestly a big surprise to like everybody because like if I go look at his stats now, which I know they're like very good. I don't really remember his stats entirely. But if I go look at receiving yards, is he not really at over that 1,000 yard mark? I don't think he was. Interesting. Yeah, Adam Thielen right now has 964 yards. Nine hundred and 64 yards with 95 receptions. Which I think is honestly interesting to me. Alright, so heading into free agency,
View a player. You have 3
it
evaluation
doesn't really seem like
periods with
anybody wants to sign with us, which honestly I don't blame them. Because who really wants to sign? Yeah, there's like 3 players in the green. Which none of them I even want. Like, you get the point. Like, nobody wants to sign him. Which, again, like I said, I don't blame them because this place sucks. Josh Allen, though, kind of has somewhat interest into signing here. And, you know, like, if we get Josh Allen, I bet you, like, Brian Burns is going to get pissed. Because, like, if this was, like, IRL. Because Josh Allen is in the same draft. Wow, no one is even bothering him and trying to give him a contract. That's interesting. And we actually got Josh Allen, too. That's actually very huge because with how bad our defense is, like in terms of the front seven, that's like a big addition because you have Eric Rotas Montos, and then that's about it, who is on a 1-year contract right now. So that is my defense in a nutshell. So we're going to need to fix this defense. And it's not going to be an easy task. So, left end is a position of need. D tackle is a position of need. Like, our offense is also just, like, completely terrible all over. Asa Komet is going to get traded. And outside of, like, quarterback, one of the receiver positions, and tackle, offensive tackle, like left tackle, we're completely terrible all over. So that's saying something in a bad way. Raiders, they immensely need a right guard. So why not try to get a 2nd-round pick? Okay. Look, I've had this 4th-round pick for 30 years. Could you... Wow, we actually have 2 4th-round picks that are in the top 100. Alright, 99th overall pick and Asa Komet for exchange of the 39th overall pick. So, I mean, I guess I could have gotten something else for it, but it wasn't really anything worth anything, really. But, yeah, this team has holes all over the roster, and we're going to need to fix it. Like, I mean by like less than 2 years. So, well, actually 2 years or less. Because Bryce Young, with his contract and everything, like we basically have 3 years, which is like 2 off seasons, not including this one, to have like a team built around Bryce Young. So that's a bit of a problem. So we have to like be very good at drafting and also try to give them like an actual offense that actually has an alignment and receivers and running. I think it's funny how things have just been lately. Like,
Next up,
I don't know
the
why, but my
Patriots
mind
are
is just
on the
on
clock.
school right now, and
With
I
the
don't
next selection,
know why.
the Carolina
And it kind of
Panthers
sucks
on
that
the
it's on
clock.
school because, like, I don't know why, but it's like every year we were off on December, well, not December, January 2nd, which makes sense, I guess, because, it's the day after New Year's, right? So the fact we're not, and let's say, for example, people stay up at 12 a.m.,
The
you
New York
guys must
Giants on
be
the
getting
clock.
yourself wrecked. And you better hope that you better sleep until like 12 p.m.
It's the
because
Carolina
otherwise, see
Panthers
you in the
now on the
gulag,
clock.
buddy. Which, like, again, I think this is terrible. Like, why are you doing this? I don't know. But that's my opinion. Like, in my opinion, we should not have school during that time. But, like I said, I'm a kid, so my opinions don't matter, I feel like. Like, I actually mean that. I feel like sometimes opinions just don't matter. For kids, specifically. Uh, you know what? Sure. I mean, he has amazing pass blocking. He has seam,
With
power
the
block,
next
and seam.
selection,
Like, yeah.
the Falcons are
I mean, yeah,
on the
he's probably
clock.
not great in terms of an athlete, but his blocking should be very nice, and he has hidden development. So, could be worse. It could be worse.
The
You know
Carolina
what I kind of want to do
Panthers
with this
now
pick
on
is
the
draft
clock.
a power back running back, if there's one around this range available. No. Okay. We could go use drafting a left end who fits this. Okay. Or I could go with right end. It really doesn't matter. I could just move them. Shouldn't be the end of the world. C and finesse moves. D. No. It's D in finesse and C in power. He isn't like incredible, but
Next up,
I think he will
it's the
get the job done.
Dolphins
And
on
he
the
does have
clock.
hidden development, so I think that was a decent pick. He might be just like a 70, 71, 72, maybe.
The
I think
Panthers
73
are
at
on the
best,
clock.
though. I would say at best. So we got the 34th overall pick, which I'm assuming is our pick. Uh, and not a pick we traded. Is there like any linebacker worth like drafting here? He is very athletic. You know what? Let's
It's
draft him.
the
Terrace
Bears now
Matthews.
on the clock.
No hidden development, but does have 91 speed and 88 excel. So yeah, and I think he's going to be a nice linebacker,
With the next
even if it's
selection,
not.
the
Again, and
Carolina
hidden development
Panthers
doesn't mean
on the
anything
clock.
at the end of the day. So yeah, but let's look at corners. Like, corner is just such a desperate need for this team. Okay, C in a zone, B in man. He's very fast for someone who's 6'4".
On the clock now, the
All right,
Seattle
Najee
Seahawks.
Winker. Like, look at his stats. B man, A to C in awareness, A in catching, B in press, B in tackling. Like, This guy is pretty good and athletic for a guy who's
The
6'4".
Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock.
He's also pretty swole too. Like, he's what, 195 pounds at
It's
6'4".
the Carolina Panthers.
You know, there's some alignment out
on
there
the
that's
clock.
6'4". I'm pretty sure that's true. So that's pretty big. Not gonna cap. I could use a D tackle. I honestly could use a tight end. Do I go with Dane Keelan out of um, Colorado, or do I go with the guy out of Texas? I kind of want to see who both of them are. So he's very fast, with also elite strength, and it doesn't seem like he's going to have a single F, which is actually a very good sign. Or I could go with this guy, who's a little more weight, more smaller though. He is slower, and he doesn't have as much strength, but it also seems like he's maybe a better run blocker. But I think I am going to take Dean Keenlaw here. It's just like,
On the clock now, the
run
Chicago
blocking
Bears.
doesn't matter at the end of the day sometimes with him. Normal development, okay. If that other tight end has hidden development and he's like a 75 or 76, I think I'm going to be pissed. Because I liked it, both of them. If I had them both on my team, I wouldn't complain. But it's going to suck if I didn't get it. Like he'd better at least be a 70 overall to not make it, like, terrible. Because there are some of those tight ends out there that I draft in this point of the draft, which are like a 66, 67, something like that. So please tell me it's not like that, because for the love of God, I don't want to. And honestly, I didn't really need to draft a tight end. Because we already have, what, Tommy Tremble? So, because I drafted one just to make sure he doesn't feel alone over there. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't draft a receiver, so. Like, I don't even think I drafted offense at all. Like, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, outside of that tackle, yeah, I forgot. Greg Newsome is a very interesting player because, like, does it tell? Yeah, he has 77 man. Do I just move him to corner? I think that's what I do. I move him to corner because, like, he has better man than he does in zone. That says something. So, yeah, 74 overall at corner. Yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense, let's face it. 72 overall, Jamal Steele. Then you got a 71, kind of what I figured, 74, 75 actually. For him, a lot higher than I thought. 67, 65, and 70, 64. So how good was that other tight end that I was hoping to draft? I'm just kind of curious. Did he even get drafted in this round? No, he didn't, I think. Oh, wait, never mind, he did. What overall was he? He was a 74 with hidden dev. If he has superstar dev or above, I think I'm gonna be pissed. But if he has star, I don't think I'm gonna mind it that much. Yeah, he just has star. That's fine. He's like one overall lower, but he has a dev trait up. Obviously, I think I do prefer him because he's probably gonna be better when he's like 27, unless my tight end wins Rookie of the Year, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, but look at the offense. We barely did anything to improve upon it. Like, yeah, we drafted a tight end. Yeah, we drafted a tackle. But outside of that entire offseason, this offense has got worse, honestly. While the defense, we drafted a defensive lineman, 2 new corners. I don't know why the other corner isn't showing up. There you go. So we have 2 new corners, no safeties. I think I'm gonna try to trade Shaq Thompson for, like, I don't know, like a receiver, maybe a left guard. Like, try to like get like a long-term piece to this team on offense or defense, because you can honestly use any position here. So try to get like a long-term piece on the O line, because or yeah, I guess the O line kind of, because like we could use a center, we could use a left guard, like we could use some things on that team. Zach Moss honestly is not that bad to sign. Honestly, AJK. I mean, I know he's a bridge player, but like he's not terrible to try to get. Malik Reed wouldn't be terrible just to get us a bridge player. Shaquem Leonard, Rashawn Evans remained from free agency. Hey, I think I'm gonna pick him up. 1 year deal. You know, he's still decently young. You never know. I want to see my free safety options. Marquise Blair, um, Lona Johnson. Is there anybody like from practice squads that I could consider picking up? There's Theo Jackson, who is 25 years old. He could be a decent backup piece, maybe. Obviously not a starter, but like he's decent. So I think he might just be my starting free safety for this year. Like, and you know, if he proves himself to be worthy, he could just be a backup player. You know, a decent addition though. Shaq Thompson, you're gonna get traded, and I think at this point it is gonna be a left guard. It's pretty much confirmed at this point because of what we have. What about Peter Skoronsky? He's 3 overalls lower, but he's significantly young. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, honestly. Like I'm trying to look for a long-term center. I mean, Alza Jenkins is a long-term center, but he's arguably going to progress pretty quick, so not him. Landon Dickerson. I mean, it's probably going to take more than just Shaq Thompson to get this trade working, but it is in the green, so this trade could work. Like, if I throw in a 4th and this gets accepted, like, that'll be pretty big, you know. How about 2 4th-round picks? So they're projected 98. Alright. 2 4th-round picks, which I know for a fact maybe the next year one isn't going to be a 98. And Shaq Thompson for exchange of Landon Dickerson. Which this is a big thing, because that's like a big like addition to this offensive line, which is something that we desperately needed. So now we basically are looking for a center, because he's arguably just going to be my bridge, let's face it. Bryce Young, right there, you know, being our quality starting quarterback with honestly nothing at receivers. And yeah, but on defense, he has a pretty good like this is a decent defense. Like Eric Rotas Montos, he's arguably a very decent player. Josh Allen's could get after the quarterback. Like this is a very good defense that hopefully is going to be, you know, at least top 20. Like that's really all I'm asking for. Because look at how dirty this front 7 is. Like not including the linebackers. Just look at the defensive line and outside linebackers. Josh Allen, Derek Brown, Garrett Kingland. You know, like this is a very decent defensive line. And yeah, but I think I'm gonna change it to 4. Do I just change it to 4-3? I feel like that's what I do here because I don't know why it just feels more earned to just change it into a 4-3. That's just what I feel like. Like he played in a 4-3. Kehler can honestly play in a 4-3. I feel like 6'5". He's a bit underweight, but it's not terrible because he had Derek Brown. Like, basically, the one thing I like about D tackles, if you run 4-3, obviously, or really any system, I like one of them to be the run stopper, which you could say in the case it could be Derek Brown, or a power rusher, like someone who actually can get after the quarterback. You know, that is one thing that I like with my D tackles. You could say one of them is my actual D tackle, and the other one is not. Eric Bruno, sure. And I'm gonna probably end it here. I'm just kind of bored at the moment, so yeah. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Peace.